Okay, guys, we are back and we're talking about time traveling and we're talking about traveling through the portal of water. Water. Interestingly enough, most persons don't realize that when you come to this planet, you were already somewhere else. And just to help you appreciate what the hell I'm talking about, most people, when they hear the story of Jesus in the good old Bible, which really is a story that comes after other stories. Not to say that the Bible or the Quran is plagiarized per se, but there are stories that were told before the Bible was created. That doesn't mean that the Bible does not have all the truths in it, if that makes any sense. Basically, what I'm saying is by the time the Bible was recorded and put out there, there had been other things that has been out. Other constitutions, other manuscripts. Take, for instance, the Moses Doctrine, and the Mosaic Law was out before the Bible. Are you with me? Okay, cool. So, Jesus supposedly was somewhere else before he came down to earth. Check. But when he got here, he did not visit through a spaceship. Check. He came through a woman's vagina. Okay. And he traveled through water. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Most of us are coming here to this planet from somewhere else. And the way things have been described to us by the ignorance of everything around us, which doesn't want us to know much of anything, that's why the society is dumbed down, we don't realize that you travel through water. Now, most people understand water has to do with your baptism, has to do with washing your butt. Water has to do with cleaning your kidneys, cleaning your body in general. Water has to do with spirituality. Water has to do with pretty much everything on this planet that is healthy is associated with water. Okay? Water is in the air. We're surrounded by water. We're made up of water, as it were. We need water to survive. When we cry and we cleanse ourselves, it's with water. So water is kind of a big deal, right? When you're coming to this planet and when you're going to be born, a woman's water break. So again, water is so issue. So again, most of us don't realize that we were somewhere else. And when we come through the portal of the woman's womb, we are now dying from somewhere else or just leaving from somewhere else. And now we're coming to this area and we're transported here. Now, the funny thing is, most people notice after a while that we look weird as a fetus. Kind of like more alien-like, if anything else. And then as we grow, we start to take on different features, human and whatnot. Now, these same little alien-looking features that we look like as a fetus reminds us of some of the Martians that we would see when we were kids, and we kind of made fun of and everything like that. But it's so funny, the resemblance, and you really don't notice these things until you kind of, is brought to your attention. Now, the interesting thing is everything on this planet has to grow into the planet. And this is why we don't believe that nothing comes out of the sky to our planet and visit us. It's not allowed. If any that is going to come on our planet, which we're learning, and it's going to be in our skies, it has to first come up through the ocean, or the Bermuda Triangle pushes its way out, and it will be now on our planet. Whenever it wants to leave and you want to chase it out of here, it's going to go down in the ocean, which most of these unidentified flying objects or these UFOs, they have warp speed and they're faster in the water than they are in the sky. In fact, they are a little bit slower and prohibited moving into this hemispheric atmosphere, if you will. But again, we travel through water, and we can actually astral project in water. Now, interestingly enough, in the series that came out, Stranger Things, they were showing how in order to astral project or to travel and to get into people's minds and to go into other dimensions, she had to be in a body of salt water. Interestingly enough, Neo in the Matrix and other shows also verified that water is the way that you have to travel. Obviously, you're born again, and when, the children of Israel, obviously they had to walk through water to get somewhere else. So there's a lot of interesting similarities as well. Like I said, I believe as well that we travel through water. I had an interesting astral projection that took me some crazy places. I was kind of in the ocean in the Gulf states. I was in the Middle East. And I was just sitting in the ocean, sitting up there in the body of water, and I was just looking at the moon, laying there floating. And next thing I know is it almost felt like I was taken up to the moon and eventually spit out into a different mindset. And, what was a few minutes to everybody that was sitting up there watching me, they didn't know that I was actually journeying and moving. I was actually going through things, and things were happening to me. And it was like hours that I was trapped in this sort of, construct of my mental, being connected. Almost like, like I said, your mind actually being downloaded or uploaded into, different consciousnesses. And again, this happens for hours while people are just looking at you, not realizing you strayed out of time. And when you sort of get back into time, they assume that you're all right, man. Well, for a few minutes there, I thought you was looked, like you was, in distress. And they're like, dude, I was there for hours. What do you mean? So that kind of happened to me. And like I said, when I figured out that we actually travel in water, again, I began to become more and more interested in going in water and sort of, saying my prayers now in water, using water to help me, imagine certain things and become creative. So I think, moving forward, I think we should actually start to view water differently. And if you are an astral projector or you are a shapeshifter and you do like to astral project and you can't figure out why don't you astral project more than what you have done in the past, well, let me give you an idea. Get you some water, turn off the lights, specifically in your bathtub or a huge body of water, light some candles. You don't have to light candles, but the fire does help. Or you don't use anything at all, but you will astral project within minutes just about. Especially if you're not, if you don't let the fear overwhelm you, you get comfortable with it and you learn to astral project. It's this interesting, most wonderful thing. In minutes, you will be in another state or consciousness, and you will realize that your physical body, your carbon-based body, is just a vessel. It's just a house, a storehouse that houses your consciousness, and you can go different places, interestingly enough.